Я тут передаю настройку. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Indy at the official headquarters of Keltec, and joining us right now, making his triumphant return to the Talking Lead podcast, ladies and gentlemen, CJ Johnson. Welcome back.
Thanks, Marty.
And as always, the enthusiasm overflows with CJ. We're glad to have you back, CJ.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Pioneer Arms is like you're stepping up your game. You're importing some new variants.
And we're not really, I guess you could say
you're stepping up your variety.
We had a big curve to overcome due to the fact that the original Pioneer Arms originally was tailored to a less than scrupulous company, and basically put any crap they could out on the market. And then when I come in 2017, the one thing that I said, other than the gun has to be affordable for the middle class, was that it's going to be the best gun on the market. So we have 6 QA/QC departments it goes to.
Nice.
So we have X number of guns that we're still going over QA/QC and changing stuff on. So we don't accept it as it comes. As there's no such thing as good enough. If it's not a gun that I would buy and give to my dad, then we don't sell it. A couple of the variants that you're holding up now is we have our 5.56 gun, and our 5.56 gun is the military push that we did that one and bring that one in. We have the contract within the Indonesian military, so they wanted the 5.56, and so we went in and did the contract, and we went against all the major companies. Went and did contract against it was like 25,000 guns or something like that.
Holy shit.
So we got the contract for that. It was 5.56, and there were certain variants that they wanted done to it. So in the process, the one that you have there is not exactly the military version, because the military one is railed out. And
it's probably full auto.
It's select fire for full auto.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the rail system and everything else, because we actually we own a Kalashnikov license, so we have the right to make the gun. So I try to make as close to a Kalashnikov as we actually can. And then we've been forced, because everybody wants a side rail, so we've been forced to make some changes for the economy, because the original Kalashnikov didn't have the side rail.
Yeah.
We do use
But this is nice for the American market.
We do. Our barrel blanks that a lot of people don't know about are actually Kalashnikov barrel blanks. We bought about 500,000 of them that they had sitting in a warehouse, and at the same time we bought an entire warehouse that was fallen down in Belarus that had the original laminate plywood. So all of our stocks that are wood are the same thing that you would have found on a 1950s, 60s
This
Soviet
is beautiful
Kalashnikov.
wood. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful wood.
And we still have some models and stuff of some of the old oil stocks and stuff like that we can get those. We sell those, some of our website. We sell a few classic guns when customers want them by order, so that they're set up in the original style.
Yeah. So the 5.56 that I'm holding here, not available yet in the United States.
No, it's available.
It is?
It's available in underfolder, side folder.
Fixed stock and rail flying over the
Yeah, we
shelf.
have it wood and polymer.
So also joining us this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we got Marco Vorobiev. Marco, welcome in.
Oh,
Welcome back.
Yeah.
You're
good.
like a regular now, right?
Oh, good Lord, that's the last thing I wanted to be. But anyway, yes.
That's the last thing I wanted to be. And then CJ has his marketing vice president here.
I have Graham Riehart with me. You'll have to say your name right.
Graham Riehart. It's welcome to be on the show. I appreciate you guys having me out here.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Feel free to chime in at any time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, when did you guys start importing the 5.56s? Pioneer Arms.
Last year, actually.
So this is recent.
Midsummer, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is recent.
So they're out on the market. We have them, and like I said, the different variants. And then we've went through and we've done a couple of changes on it. We're not really going back and reinventing the wheel. We've added our tabs and stuff onto the safety so that they're easier to manipulate.
Longer magazine.
We have a longer magazine released.
Of course, the side
There was this Russian Spetsnaz that's an engineer in the United States now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Marco Vorobiev.
We should get him on the show sometime.
And
Good idea.
he's one of the guys that has been a Spetsnaz and that I've went through and bounced a lot off of as far as the guns to make it more user friendly for the customers and stuff. So we get a lot of input from him on how that the gun should look and everything. He's, a matter of fact, the reason we have a pink AK that you can order off our website. Marco's
I knew that
personal-
was coming.
personal
Yes.
pink camouflage gun
Pink
that we have
camouflage,
on there.
yeah, that's
Well,
great.
you never know where you're gonna wind up eventually. And
You never know. It's
you
a
gotta
toss-up.
blend- You gotta blend in. You gotta blend in.
There's something for everybody, right?
Right. But on a serious note, as I'm holding this gun right here, so that
Leave it to
takes-
Marco to bring us down.
Right. It takes me back to like 1981 when we had the beginner's preparation course in the Soviet high school. And as I'm holding this gun, this is the very first gun I ever shot. The very first AK. That's what it looked like.
Really?
Exactly the same with the laminate wood. Well, obviously it was in 7.62, but the
Yeah.
configuration of it did not have
Didn't
the
have the
side
side mount. No.
but right here is like, as you can probably see in the camera, that's just a one little tear dripping down my cheek, kind of remembering the light gun era. But yeah, this is it, and that's
Memory lane.
definitely an attraction for those people who look in the classic, looking for a classic look of an AK. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't come any closer than this.
It's beautiful. It's
One of the-
absolutely gorgeous.
One of the big reasons we got the contract with Indonesia is the accuracy of the gun. We don't chrome line our barrels. A lot of companies are, military companies and everything else are chrome lined, but Pioneer first and foremost is a defense contractor. So we build guns for the military. We build them for Excalibur, we're the largest civilian gun dealer in the world. I mean, you could buy tanks, helicopters. You went there and
I
you went
did.
there and shot all kinds of cool stuff.
They shot tanks.
Shot tanks. So we make exclusively all the small arms for Excalibur with that. And so one of the things that they wanted was they needed an accessorized rifle because they were kind of ahead of the game. They wanted, it has the boat hold open it also. They wanted a rifle that was accurate and durable to replace the 74 because they knew what was coming up. So we created this. It's on the market, and not according to me, but according to Guns and Ammo, it is one of the most accurate 5.56s on the market. Just as far as the way that our barrels and the rifling in it and the coating.
Absolutely gorgeous. I love it.
And if I may add, everyone I come across, I shoot. And
Everyone you come across, you shoot.
yeah, meaning if I,
He
He
hasn't-
shoots everybody he comes
He
across.
hasn't shot me. So.
Yet,
every
Yeah.
one of this
I think
AK
that bacon's
rifles
kicking
that-
in a little bit.
Well, anyway, yeah. Anyway, no, every one of these guns, the Pioneer Arms, that I come across and hold in my hand, I usually go and shoot it, and I have a little.
Chubby direction.
Yeah, right. Little target, like a standard 25-meter target, and I have to say that these guys, they capable of really tight groups. So
I would challenge someone to find a better product. I mean, you have tight groups. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful product. It's affordable. I think that in general, we have absolutely hit it out of the park. Look at that fit and the finish, like specifically the finish of the gun. I know that there's a lot of other AKs out there with like Parkerized finishes and whatnot that scratch up so easily.
Yeah.
But just look at that; it just
Nice.
speaks to you.
Yeah,
And that
And it's
would-
got the
Graham is
Rodham
right. Marketing
logo
kicks
on it.
in, and he
That's
talks
the
about
Archer for the
finish.
guys that remember for September 11th. The real meaning of September 11th, and while Osama decided to attack the World Trade Center and stuff on September 11th, was because that was the last great crusade that the Muslims did into Europe. So they went in and they surrounded Vienna, and they were outside of Vienna, and they were getting ready to go in, ransack it, and the King of Vienna, of Austria, sent out, I need people to come and help me. And all the other kingdoms, like France, was like, well, we'll just wait until he dies, and then we'll go to claim it.
Right.
So the other companies and kingdoms wouldn't help him out. So the bastard prince of Poland
Okay.
took his hussars, and this is what Polish is really known for, is the hussars came in, and there was like 5,000 of these Muslims around Vienna, and they already ran out of cats and dogs and babies and dead people, so they were getting ready to surrender. They were starving, and the day before they surrendered, the hussars rode in with I want to say it was 50,000 cavalrymen on horseback and cut the 500,000 Muslims to pieces.
Oh gosh.
And they left, and that was the last invasion. I mean, there's more into the story than that,
Sure,
and I'm
sure.
not exactly right on the numbers, which I've been accused of before, of
Yeah.
having my numbers off.
Yeah, you always like to add like an inch or two. On
An inch or two. I'm really not 6'2". Thanks, Marco.
Weren't we talking girth earlier?
Yeah, girth, and I like to get an inch or two girth. But yeah, so if you go back and read the history of it, it's Circle 11, and the thing about our logo that we have on the gun is the archer, because Rotterdam is the city where all the archers were from during that time period.
Okay.
And they were all of the kingdoms, even the kingdoms in Prussia and everything else. Everybody talks about the English and the longbow that they had and everything
Right.
else. Well, Rotterdam had the archers that all of these companies, because back then a company was basically a militia where they would go out, mercenaries, and you would buy a company for a guy, and
Yeah.
Rotterdam trained some of the best archers in
Company
the
of
world.
mercenaries.
So Rotterdam is where the logo's from, and the archer, and it's the center thing, and we have that logo.
It's a
to
great
go with
logo.
us.
I love the logo.
And,
Absolutely love it.
But you might want to mention the little number 11 underneath there.
Well, Circle 11, yeah, that's... Yeah, 11 was
factory?
the factory number 11. Now, we don't claim, you know, we stand on our own as far as being made in Rotterdam and stuff, where the company go there, and everybody goes, oh, Fabric Roni, and which is great. Fabric Roni is a good company, and there are the government companies, so they're owned by the Polish government and does the guns for them.
But the key thing to mention is that although you can drink away your strength and endurance, one thing you cannot drink away is expertise
Right.
and experience. So this guy's been building these guns since 1960s.
So we bought the factory, Circle 11, we bought the factory, several of the buildings, you've been there.
Yeah.
We bought the factory.
Impressive.
We bought the factory out of Circle 11 from bankruptcy, and we bought everything but the name Circle 11 because the guy wanted like $50,000 just for the name Circle 11, which in hindsight would have been a good investment.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that. We already had the Inter Arms, which was the other company that was being there, and we already had the archers. So we had the logos. We hired the employees that used to work for Circle 11. We got most of their machinery and the building all out of the auction. And we got a ton of the old Circle 11 parts that were seconds and stuff. And those old Circle 11 parts were the ones that were in circulation, 20 years ago, that made everybody curse Pioneer Arms. But they weren't Pioneer Arms because we didn't build guns back then. They were just old Circle 11 parts that we shipped out.
Very good. So, interesting history, and our lead heads love to hear that. So I'm holding up another offering here from Pioneer Arms.
The
And
best,
this
most original.
Yes, I must say.
It is a 22 AK. The only polymer in that gun is the magazine and the grip. Everything else is wood and steel. You could take your regular AK trigger and stick inside of this AK because it's the same. The safety is the same. The grips are the same. The wood is the same. The dust cover is the same. The sights, cleaning rod, and everything else. We changed the bolt carrier, and the barrel diameter, and we created a 22 trainer that's designed for anybody that wants to shoot with 22 and have an accurate Type 1.
That's awesome.
It's an AK. It's not at a 22 price. I think the MSRP on it's going to be around $750.
It's about 750,
It's not an AK
760.
price.
$750. Because it's an AK.
Right.
You know, and it's built that way, and we built that one. Other than the obvious 22 things, we built it as an original Kalashnikov. So we didn't do the rail. We didn't do any changes on it or anything
just holding
else.
it. I mean, everything is
one-to-one.
everything is exact. Kalashnikov.
And we have about 5,000 of them in training companies across the world for companies overseas that.
Is that the main reason why this was produced? Was for training? would you say?
We have we're a defense you know, everybody thinks we build guns for the U.S. for our market, and we kind of get the leftovers.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is we're a defense company. So we build guns under contract for militaries around the world.
Right.
And so we get a lot of flashback about our castings and stuff. Oh, you have a 7.62 cast gun, and we're like, okay, yeah, it is cast. We got the forgings that you can get with it. That the only reason we did the forgings was because customers inside the U.S. All of our military guns have castings in it, but the 5.56. It's because the 5.56 contract required a forging.
Sure.
The other guns, the Excalibur guns, that are being ran around the world right now, they all have castings in it, and it's because we control every aspect of our product. We don't outsource anything. The only thing on that gun that you see is outsourced is that little yellow tag on it, right there. That's the NRA to say that it's safe. But we make everything in-house. From the only thing we didn't do on that gun was grow the wood. So we didn't grow the trees.
Yeah, but you cut it.
There were no nice ladies walking by.
There was no nice ladies walking by. So we didn't.
Cutting
There was no wood being grown.
But it's got a weight, feel. I mean,
It feels just like like a regular AKM. Yeah.
Except it's like a 1/10 of a course to shoot it.
Oh yeah.
And
So much fun.
Well, what's it the cost factor actually of why the guns was made? We made that in 22 due to the fact that these other military companies and stuff are doing training, and they have females, and they also, people don't understand the freedom that we have in America that they're trying to give away. These other countries, I mean, the guys that make this gun are not allowed to own a gun. So
Isn't that ironic?
The freedoms that we have and the stuff that we're able to do. So these other militaries that wanted that, we made that for them, made it under contract, and it's the reason is because you have females that have never shot a gun, you have males that have never shot a gun before, so it gets rid of that factor, explosive factor, and they start them off and train them on that, and then once they move from that, they go to the process of starting. It's got the bolt.
Yeah.
It's got that last hold round open in the magazine that causes that.
Yeah. Boom.
So we built the gun so you could shoot it and not be afraid of it, and then work your way up to a 7.62 on it. And what that little thing you're looking at the end of it is,
Just a little something on here.
that is Pioneer's suppressor, and on the end of the barrel there, you may notice a little notch thing sticking out. That is a 5.56 left hand 1 and 4 to an AK right hand thread.
Okay.
So what that allows is anybody that has and we have that for our 5.56 guns also.
Okay.
That allows anyone that has a 5.56 muzzle brake that they like, they can put that on their,
Put the adapter over
put the adapter on there, and they
Take
can
this off. Put the adapter on
put the
here.
adapter off, and they can shoot their 5.56 muzzle brake that they already have, or if they have a right hand 5.56 can that they want to put on it, they can put their can that they already have on it.
Nice.
Not have to worry about changing thread patterns or anything else. It's something you've already shot on your AR, which we have a plethora of, and there's a ton of AR muzzle brakes out there, and there's just not a ton of AK muzzle brakes that are out there that are acceptable or people that like.
Are you
There
selling
a few.
the adapter?
We sell the adapter.
Okay.
It's I don't know.
$39.99 is what MSRP is on those.
So we have that one, and we also have a 7.62 one that goes on that'll let you shoot your 30 cal can onto your regular AK, or your 30 cal muzzle brake that you already have that you enjoy onto
Evan.
your muzzle brake. Did you bring some?
I want to order one now. Oh, you got some here.
That's
Okay.
that's
Oh,
for the
let's hold 'em up.
5.56.
Muzzle brake.
That's the muzzle brake, which we'll talk about that in a second. That's our trigger group, which everybody loved, the Tapco trigger. The Tapco trigger was nothing more than an AK-85 trigger that the Soviets had designed. And we also produced that, but it's hand polished, so it's a lot smoother than a regular trigger that you'll get in.
Crisper. Very crisper.
So this is the trigger group here.
Trigger group, and it already comes with a side plate, so it eliminates the shepherd's hook, which is always a pain on everybody to install.
Yeah. Very nice. So people can go to your website and get these today.
One more.
Yeah, they're on our website, and then that's a 7.62 for the suppressor right there.
Nice. Got sub 62 AK to standard.
And then we
Obviously,
have our
308 cal adapter, SIM62 with 3.9.
then we have our 5.56 to AR to standard for the AR. Then we have
Very
our
nice. This is like Christmas right here, man.
then we have our
This
combat.
is like what people have been wanting and looking for a long
I mean,
time.
it's a process to go to get the tech stand and wait for whatever 8 months
Sure.
to get it for additional can. But the ability for you to interchange between 2 rifles that you already have is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
and just finding that conversion, especially when you got the standard AK slant muzzle on there, to find the adapter.
Well, that's
I mean-
our AK muzzle brakes.
Yeah,
That's
this is
your-
the muzzle brake. Here.
So that's your standard left hand thread, and that one cuts the recoil down because a lot of people are like, "Wow, your gun shoots hard," and we make a military gun, so we have a higher tolerance spring set up inside of it. We're a little bit overgassed. That's because we want the gun to be able to continue to fire. The really only changes that we make between our military gun and civilian guns is the bolt, obviously the sear
Right.
inside of the firearm. Those are really the only changes. We run the same barrel, the same trunnion, the same wood, everything else on our military guns as we do our civilian guns. We just get rid of the select fire stuff. Now this is the muzzle brakes combat compensator, so this takes out a lot of the recoil out of it. It's designed for the AK. It comes standard. We ship our 5.56 guns with that slant brake because everybody loves the slant brake.
Yeah.
The slant brake is horrible.
Classic.
It's horrible on a 5.56 gun.
Yeah, it's not designed for 5.56
It's
at
not
all.
designed for 5.56. So we have this muzzle brake here, which comes with the gun. We call it the combat compensator. It looks a lot like a castle, but it has the rings on top of it for the guys that like to, let's say, deer hunt across somebody else's property. It's real easy to use the little notches in it to set up against the barbed wire fence.
Right.
Pull the trigger, it cuts the wire.
There you go.
So it's the wire cutter on the end of it there, and then you don't have to worry about the spall or anything else, and it gets you through the fence pretty quick.
Get your deer. Yeah. Very nice.
Introducing our new belly band holster. Whether you're hitting the gym or running a quick errand, our belly band is one of the most comfortable and safest ways to carry your firearm. The center section allows you to carry most common pistols. Left or right-handed, this has you covered. A hard laminate trigger shield protects the firearm's trigger from unwanted intrusion, giving you ease of mind while carrying every day. 2 elastic sleeves give you the flexibility to carry other everyday items, such as spare mags, flashlight, knife, or pepper spray. 2 zippered pockets run on both sides, offering the option to carry smaller items such as money, cards, or keys. Flush fit on your lower back or waist, easily keeping your setup discreet no matter how you choose to carry. Utilizing 3D spacer mesh, these channels allow for exceptional and efficient airflow, giving you maximum comfort and keeping you cool. Carry whenever you want, how you want, with our new belly band holster. Available now.
Get you through the fence pretty quick.
Get your deer. Yeah. Very nice. So you were talking about the can. Is this your can?
Right, we designed that can,
Okay.
and it's about 2 inches longer than most standard 22 cans, and we did that to quiet it down even more. So it's a suppressor, it's not a silencer, but we do make a silencer also. That can right there, it takes it down to 31 decibels. We're talking
Nice.
We're talking right now at 71 or so.
Right.
So it takes it down to 31 on a rifle with
You
that.
don't need ear probes to shoot this.
With ear pros, anything under 106 or 105. But it has our standard baffle set up inside it, but it's a tad bit longer, and that gives it the quiet. We made it a little bit longer so we could get it down on the decimal level. Now that's 31 decimals on a semi-automatic pistol.
Gotcha.
On the rifle, it's dead silent.
Wow.
So on the rifle, all you hear is
What was the
is
word you
click,
used?
Click tap.
Hollywood silent.
Hollywood silence.
Yeah, we're trying to do away with that terminology. So leadheads, if you got something better to use than the Hollywood silent, because we don't want to give them any publicity, because they hate us. Why should we help them?
So we have another version of that one, which is twice as long as a regular, which is 12 inches instead of 6 inches. So the reason we have a 12-inch one is because it comes with a 6-inch too.
Okay.
So, and the baffles in it's a mono baffle. So you can actually take your 12-inch one, it's 2 separate mono baffles, and unscrew it and make a 6-inch. So the 12-inch one is absolutely silent in the pistol. So no noise at all you hear is the pistol stuff. The 6-inch one gives you your 6-1 puts you about 61 decimals, something one like that, 71.
What are these called?
That is the mouse, as in quiet as.
Quiet as a mouse.
Yes, we're going with rodents.
So the Pioneer Arms Corp mouse.
Mouse.
The mousy, the rodent. I love it.
And the price of those are going to be less than a tax stamp to the customer.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's a big deal, by the way.
Are these available now?
Well, the boxes are being printed now, and they'll be available within the next 30 days.
Very
They're going to be
nice.
coated with something else, or are they?
They'll be Cerakoted.
Yeah.
And
this
it's
is an uncoated one right here.
still
In the light.
it's still in aluminum. We didn't go with any exotic metals because it is a 22. You
Right.
can take it apart. It is fully cleanable on the inside, and it's cheaper to maintain than most. That we found out. We've done a lot of testing on that. I've got a lot of people.
Is it user serviceable?
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
We've also got a guarantee on it. If you have a baffle strike or something else on it, if you destroy anything but the end cap, we're going to replace it
You'll
for
be
you.
able to replace it.
Yeah, so
Nice.
we're going to do that as far as the repair on it.
Now, are you coming out with a 7.62?
We're coming out with a 7.62 and a 5.56 standard that'll be out, and we're going to go through the same process. We're not going to be the lightest, and we're not going to be the shortest, but we want to be the least expensive and the quietest.
There you go. Affordable and
Affordable and quiet.
effective.
The rule of thumb has always been, you give up.
You
You
always
give it-
got to give up something for something.
You give up
else.
noise protection to be able to have it compact and smaller for the weight. So we're kind of looking past that because we're looking more at the hunting market to go up on it, and ear protection is what it is. We're not really
Right.
designing stuff for a guy to carry in his pocket and execute somebody with. That's not who we are.
So the way Marco comes into play on all this, with it's different cans.
Oh, the cans.
Marco
Yeah.
has a different set, and I'm going to go
Okay.
back. I'm going to go back to exactly why Pioneer makes cans.
Okay.
We're doing a lot of the machining and stuff in the U.S., and we're bringing a lot of the machining and stuff over from Poland. And that's why I say we make 100% of our parts. We make our U.S. compliant parts. Now, we're actually moving the civilian part of Polish arms into the U.S. That's to include our own foundry that we'll have here to be able to do our parts.
Hells yeah.
So we won't have to worry about anything coming from anywhere else because we do 100% of our parts. And
Right.
we're going to continue to do that. We're building a 20,000 square foot factory near our location we're at. We're at like 9,200 now, and we're just on top of each other.
Yeah.
So we're building that bigger factory. All the parts will be made here for all the firearms. And then we have, of course, the underlining, this is the reason why, is we have some military contracts, some stuff that I talked to you about
Sure.
earlier, something about a bullpup and something in the BMG
Right.
that we're in the process of doing in a new military pistol. And we're looking at the U.S. market in those.
Nice.
So as we have these machines that are running and we have to pay people to do that, not all parts are machined at the same time.
Gotcha.
So whereas
Makes sense.
if we're making 50 parts of one thing but the machine can only do 10 of the other one while that at the same process, we have downtime on the machines.
Yeah.
So at the downtime on the machines, we're going to use those to make the suppressors. So that means we're really only charging for the suppressors a very little profit on top of that. So you're paying for materials and construction. That's why we can come in and offer it as cheaper, because
At a lower
we don't
price.
make suppressors, we make defense items, and that's just how
It's an ancillary
falls.
thing that happened to work out, and
Well, it's
great for us.
It's cheaper for the consumer, and
Right.
I've always wanted the
Well, I mean,
consumer.
great for us.
Well, not necessarily
Cheap.
for you, not necessarily for you, big real estate mogul guy there, mogul guy, but for the
We ain't
rest,
talked in a while, have we?
for the rest of us commoners, like Graham, for instance,
Oh, me.
Wow.
or Marco, he's an engineer, so.
Yeah.
And it took me for years to wonder why he didn't have a train, but he's not that kind of engineer.
Oh, there we go.
But he did work for a train company,
He did work for a train company.
right? So, Marco, you have some items that we like to talk about too. So you've been on previous shows, and we've talked about the relationship that you have with Pioneer Arms, that you've started the distributorship.
Well, I wouldn't call it distributorship. but
That's
I'm
what you
just
called
help-
it. What do you
I'm
call
help-
it?
Yeah, I help as much as I can, or Pioneer Arms helps me, I guess.
Marco,
How would you define it, CJ?
well, basically what it is you have a lot of small gun shops. Getting into distribution and stuff like that for the different companies that are out there. I mean, there's a huge bunch of distributors out there.
Right.
It's difficult for the companies that can only afford to buy one gun. I mean, distributors will work with you, but you're not on their list. Our guns are hot guns. We don't have our guns sitting around. We only do about 2,400 a month, and we've actually had to decrease that number to 1,400 a month because we're bringing back in the PM63.
Bam.
Oh, there you go.
He just said it.
So with that being said, we've had to cut our production in half to bring those guns in. But we
To
make
get the PM63.
the guns cost 3 times as much as our other guns, so it's kind of a trade-off. They're very difficult to make, but it takes half of our production line to be able to do it.
Right.
So we're bringing the PM63s back in, so the supply of our firearms that we have out there are even smaller. So we have tons of small gun shops that want to buy our firearms, but they can only buy one. They're not really in the distribution chain where they buy 5 or 10 guns to go there. So the guys that wind up buying 50 or 60 because they have 7 stores always wind up with the product.
Right.
So Marco has a very small distributorship to go with it, and he deals with just a very couple stores that can't get anything
Yeah.
as far as the firearms and stuff
Okay.
go. And so we
Small
work
now.
we work with him. Well, he's going to have to stay small because we only have.
We're not going. We're staying micro, not macro.
Well, let me kind of.
We had a conversation about that earlier.
He can
Right.
go big with whatever he wants, but he can only go small with us because we have a very small percentage of firearms to be able to help these small stores out
Right.
with, because we have our distributors that we have to take care of.
So some of the customers that I call on, and knowing that, I guess they know that Marco is like somehow tied to AKs or whatnot. They asked me to do classes, do like a AK fundamentals and intermediate and then advanced classes and stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, like CJ said, they can't get any rifles on their wall, and they often dependent on like the representative groups that actually have the representative group interests in mind rather than the customer.
Sure.
Especially small customer.
Yep.
So they approached me and said, since we're doing the classes, we would like to have some guns on the wall. And, that's kind of my niche thing.
Okay.
But because the quality, the
Sharing
Pioneer
love.
Arms-
Sharing the love with everybody.
right, and the quality of the gun. And of course, I come across many variants and manufacturers and stuff. But across the way, across the board, so to speak, the Pioneer Arms is probably one of the best, if not the best, off-the-wall AK that you're going to get.
Yeah.
And it's readily available, and it looks awesome. And
It does. It really does.
You got various configurations. There's plastic furniture available. Some people like that. Some
So
people-
compatibility with other, like Magpul and all that, you guys are
seamless.
compatible with all that kind of stuff.
Seamless.
Well, we are in a lot of stuff, but it depends. And
Sure.
I'm going to say if, most AKs on the market are not Kalashnikovs, they're variants.
Right.
Because each company did a certain way on the way that they were building their gun, and they changed this pattern for this size or that size to be able to go with it. One of the hardest problems we find is magazines. Everybody wants to make a magazine. There's a different width, different size, and everything. And the problem with that is when you cut a magazine well out, if I try to cut a magazine well out that fits every magazine on the market, you'll be able to take your magazines and just
Sure.
rattle them around.
Yeah.
So we have the couple of different popular magazines that we run through the guns as far as when we cut them to make sure that it's compatible with that. As far as stocks, grips, handguards, we're all good on all that other stuff. If you have an original Kalashnikov, our bolts, our safeties, our triggers, all of that,
Internals,
all of our internals and stuff of a Kalashnikov is exactly the same
Yeah.
because we make it off the original license. Now our trigger groups and stuff like that, they're hand polished, they're U.S. made. and they're made off of the exact same as the Tapco did. Okay, I'm going to go back to Tapco a lot because those guys made some good products.
Sure.
But it's the AK-85 trigger is what the original trigger was. So, and we take it and we bring it back in. We've got it polished. So it's a smoother trigger to go with it, and that fits.
Is this the trigger that comes in it, or is this an aftermarket?
Nope, that's
upgrade?
the trigger that comes in our gun.
Okay.
So we do all of the upgrades and stuff, all of these parts that we sell, additional and stuff, we do that. Like our magazines are US made magazines. And the guy that helped us with those is Dan Redmond. And you guys may know him because he's the guy that designed the original Tapco mags. Mm-hmm. So we have our modes and stuff that we own. We make our own US magazines with it. It's a compliant part as we're going through this transition to bring stuff in. But we still make the product and everything with it.
Nice. Now, are there plans for a 545? Look at that head go. He's like,
Okay,
you gotta ask. You know, AK. That's
yeah.
exactly what the listeners are asking right now.
Your AK. I mean, there's 75 guys that are going to buy a 74. And out of those and out of those 75 guys, okay, well we do 2,500 guns a month. We do 5,000 military guns overseas a month.
Yeah.
And then we do about 24 guns here in the States that we've had to cut down because of the PM63.
Right.
So we're doing about 1,400 guns a month now. Now, we'll have to retool, reline to be able to bring the 545s in. We already have a 545. We already make a 545.
Right, I knew that, yeah.
It's just
but not here.
This is not a market for it.
Yeah, just not
Okay,
here.
everybody says, I want a 545, I want a 545. You know, we make a 545, you bring it in, 6 guys buy it, 75 guys wanted it, 30 guys are going to say that they had a friend that had an uncle that was in a basement that saw one that fell off the shelf. So
I don't know, since our listener's been listening to Marco, I mean, that's his go-to is the 545.
but you can't get ammo.
Right,
That's
it's my favorite.
There is no ammo.
It doesn't spill out to somebody else's.
There is no ammo, and the 5.56 gun is the new high-speed,
545?
accurate 5.45. So our 5.56 guns replace it. As a matter of fact,
That's a good dance around the question answer.
Well, the
I like
question
that.
is, we're not going to do a 74 until ammo becomes available.
Okay.
Because it's just going to distract away from
That's
our
legit.
other guns that are.
That's a legit answer, and I'll
and
accept
also,
that. That's
again,
good.
I'm referring to, and I don't know if the listeners already know that I'm not just a history lover. I'm more like a nerd when it comes down to history. And Poland.
You're like a savant, is what I would say. You're more of a savant.
Isn't like savant like slightly autistic? I
A
guess
little.
that means you're stupid, but
That
really
means you're a
smart.
little retarded.
Exactly. So
I'll
I
say
think
it.
the numbers that floating around my head and stuff. The Rain Man.
The Rain Man.
But anyway, so if you go back and look at a Polish production, Polish guns and stuff, and of course they have a whale of knowledge and expertise how to build 7.62 guns that they've been doing it since the 60s and stuff. You know, so probably the closest copies to original, or maybe even better than original the Soviet guns. But at the same time, when they joined NATO and switched to 5.56 caliber, they remained AK sort of. They continue to produce AKs and the barrel rifles that now became main battle rifle across the Polish military. So that's the expertise. It's right there. 5.05 is something that they might have started doing something experimentally back in the 80s, but then the wall came down. Yes. AK-74 is my favorite thing, but it doesn't mean that it's all the way. It transcends all the way across the market.
Stick with your guns, Marco. You like the 545. Come on.
I love it.
There's a lot of guns that they don't make that you can't get ammo for.
That's true. You know, and that makes a lot of sense too. So
if
you guys saw me holding up Marco's book. You go to Amazon. You can get Marco's book all about the AK-47. Got a great history about it. And Marco, if you listen to the AK Corner, you know that he actually had a sit-down dinner with the man himself, Mikhail Kalashnikov.
I did. And I was fortunate enough to actually meet the man. Have a dinner at his summer house. And I didn't know, I don't know if I finished the plate. I was just there absorbing the man's wisdom and his stories and stuff. And I guess the one thing that I could take away from it is how down to earth this world famous person was.
Yeah.
Just as if we were talking as if we knew each other.
Well, he was a gun guy, so
Yeah.
that's,
Had a lot in
that's the
common.
difference.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah. So you guys can get it at Amazon, like I said. And if you're here at the NRA, Marco is here at the Kel-Tec booth, and he will sign your copy of it. So we made an announcement on the podcast several episodes ago. So if you're here, I know several lead heads are supposed to be here. They're supposed to be coming by to get their autographed copy. I'm going to be the first, though, Marco. And I want you to sign mine, if you would, please.
Now, if you're not here and you have one and you want to get it signed, just look up Marco's address and come to his house anytime that you want.
Anytime his address
preferably at
is
midnight, and he will gladly come out in his robe and sign it for you.
Yeah, might as well. I got a parking lot in my backyard that
There
some
you
guys
go.
already did.
Now, you want to sign on the front, or do you want to sign like on your picture somewhere?
You tell me. How
You
want
do
it
me a
done.
special one. I'll let you pick. This is gonna be special for me,
Everything about you is special, Marty.
right? I kind of follow that savant category of.
So we
That's a
set
good one.
10 guns up to help Mark. Was it 10? 10 or 12?
12.
We sent 12 guns up for Marco, variants, a couple of different variants, side folders, under folders, 7.62 for him to use for his classes and training. So for the individuals that don't
All right,
have,
sign it up here too. I'm gonna get 2 autographs on mine because I can't
He's
see that
gonna
one.
be selling them, CJ.
this is the only one he ever signed twice.
Right? I'll have the only one.
So we sent guns up there to help them train it, and then we still in the Daytona Beach area, which Florida's changed over to Constitution Carrier, which is good. But we still have the big 3 East combined with Pioneer Arms. We still do free safety courses, free training classes, and we've also have a AK-3 gun, which will be started here within about the next 40 days or so. Be a local competition to come down, and then we'll also be doing.
Well, that'd be fun.
Well, 100% of the money goes to the food bank.
Okay.
So everything out there, I've got a couple other companies I'm going to partner up with. I think one of them, Adam Renola works at. So
Who?
big
Adam who?
big guy named Adam.
Adam who?
So
Big Tiny?
got a couple other companies that are involved in it and stuff, and it's just going to be
Well, that'd be fun.
it's going to be a very inexpensive, $20-25 for individuals to come
Yeah.
out and shoot for the day. And all the money, we'll have some nice prizes for them, a nice price table, but all the money will go to the food bank. And then we'll have the opportunity for classes and stuff to go on for that, where we'll have some of the armorers and stuff to be able to do that stuff.
And when is that? Say the dates again.
There's no lockdown date. It's about the next 30 to 45 days.
Okay.
We'll kick out the first one.
You're gonna put it on social media so people can.
We're going to put it out on Big 3, invite a couple
Well,
of people
let me
down
know,
there
and I'll
with
put
it.
a word out to the lead heads. Let them know too.
And we also, Pioneer Arms is also going to be offering a factory armorers course that you'll be able to come down and do. We'll have guys that are going over to be trained at the armor school for Poland, and then you'll be able to come into our shop and do armor school, and it'll be a certification from Rodham.
That's awesome.
From trained for that for armor school to be able to be about a 2-day course
Heck yeah.
to be able to do that. We'll have that set up, and you'll come in and actually build your own gun as an armor.
Have you put Graham
That'll
through
be
that
part
yet?
of the course.
I think it should be a prerequisite for Graham to,
I agree
to go
with
through
that.
that.
I agree with
Graham's problem is he's the type of guy that'll stick a 4-wheel drive truck and not know how to turn it onto 4-wheel drive and walk off and leave it. Especially if it's his boss's $100,000 pickup truck. He'll leave it stuck in the mud somewhere.
Graham, is he calling you out right now?
He's calling me out right now.
They're like, rot-row. Shit, they go in there.
So he's that type of guy. He's it's kind of like you. He's a Honda Civic guy.
Yeah, that's what my car is, a preference, definitely. So tell everybody, Pioneer Arms Corp, where they can get in touch with you guys. They can go look at the gun porn of all your products.
You can go to the website. We carry a large amount of PPS 43 parts and stuff on our website. We're starting to bring in more AK parts that we're carrying on there, but it's pioneerarmsus.com, and that's our website. We have a few guns that may have a little chip in the stock or something else that I won't sell anywhere else. We sell as blend guns.
Oh, okay.
That you can go in there and buy directly from us. We have a lifetime warranty on our guns. So, and I pride myself on, the 15-day program, and I just fired 2 guys, the 5-day program. I just fired 2 guys because it took over 15 days to get resolute to a customer back on a firearm. But we take pride in taking care of the guns, take care of the customer. We are the little guy, so we know what it is for the little guy with the firearm, and we're getting the best product out there to them, and we're going to support them and back them up all the way through this process with the firearm.
Very nice. And Graham, the social medias?
Social media, you have Pioneer Arms USA. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram specifically.
On the grams.
On the grams, exactly. Instagram.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And Marco's not on the grams. You can't find him on the grams. You can't find. There's no website.
Micro's on the calories.
No calories.
Yeah.
Marco's on the rye.
No, Marco
He's on the
lives by
bacon.
principle. The less you know, the longer you live. So
I like that. But you can go to Amazon and you can put in Marco, and it's Vorobiev, and it will pull up not only the AK-47 survival and evolution of the world's most prolific gun, but it'll also pull up your other
right, the shooter's guide.
the shooter's guide that you have.
Kind of that one is.
And then CJ soon.
Well, no, you can get my book on there too.
Well, we're going to talk about that, but soon you're going to get Marco's, like you did, an autobiography on Amazon, because Marco's working on that autobiography, ladies and gentlemen. And now, CJ, your book, The Carnivore.
Yeah, my book was an accident that it even got published. The story On Point came out. That's a history of the ground war in Iraq, and then Bob Brown from Soldier Fortune magazine knew one of the guys that wrote it, and he took excerpts out of it, not excurts.
Excursions.
Excursions.
What you thinking about?
But he took a lot of the stuff out of it and actually put it in Soldier Fortune magazines, and then Jim Tarr actually grabbed those articles and put them in a book format, and then asked me if I would like to do some comments on it because the book was going to get published. So that's kind of how the book come about. It put a little bit about my history on there, but it's on Amazon. You can get it on the ebooks and stuff that they got on there also, and it's Memoirs of a Cavalry Scout, and I think the first edition was America's deadliest soldier for the ground war going in Iraq, which really should have been
That was called Carnivore.
Yeah, it was Carnivore, America's Deadly.
Okay.
Both of them lists are on there, but that's kind of the other
I got
stuff
you.
going
I
on.
got you. Okay.
Carnivore was named with the Bradley, and it's really the deadliest soldier because it's the 25 millimeter and coax is what ate everything up, not necessarily me.
There you go, lead heads, and make sure that you tune into the AK Corner each and every month, and maybe we can get CJ to come on and join us on the next AK Corner, or upcoming AK Corner. Love to have you back.
Thanks, Marty. I'd appreciate that.
Oh, sounds good. And Graham, pleasure meeting you, brothers.
Nice to meet you as well.
All right, ladies, we'll be back with more from the NRA 2023 here at the Kel-Tec booth, the official headquarters.
Less than 1% of all Americans will ever serve in uniform. Their average age is 23. The average age of an American serving in combat, just over 21. They come from every walk of life and ethnicity to represent the melting pot and diversity of our great republic. In the prime of their life, often just old enough to drink, or voting for the first time for their commander-in-chief, they serve our nation and risk their lives to preserve the freedoms and liberties we hold most sacred. To every veteran, and for every measure of service, devotion, and sacrifice you've given, we offer our sincerest gratitude and thanks.